Hello friends! I missed you since our last semester. It is very much time to go back to school, but hopefully not in the... back to the Magical Readathon. It's our second year in the Orilium Academy. If you are new here though, I finally have a video to direct you to, so I don't have to actually try and explain everything very quickly here. I will leave this video down below. Walks you through how to create a character, how to join our readathon, what you do need to do, what you don't need to do. Spoiler alert, you can do very little and still join us, so I would absolutely recommend watching that video, and hopefully it helps. Create a character, join us, doesn't matter if you've done anything before. We would love to have you, and I hope you'll have fun if you do decide to join. And for those returning, welcome back! I love your faces, adore your magical selves, and I hope that the semester is gonna be just as fun. I probably should still say that the Magical Readathon is a kind of RPG, make your own character, have your own adventure, reading setup. So it's a game we play to motivate ourselves to read more, or just to read with friends and include a little bit more of a, oh, you know, this month I'm gonna be reading, but I'm gonna be reading a little bit geekier or with other people. I don't want to see read more because that's not really the goal. The goal is to just have fun and mix it up a bit. In the Magical Readathon, we go and seek higher education in our magical selves. So we go to an academy, meet some of the professors, attend classes that teach us stuff for schools of magic, learn some new tricks, go on some side adventures, have a jolly time, or that's the goal. I do have quite a bit to cover in this video. I hope it sounds exciting. First things first, I think for the returning students, we're gonna have the main question: do I continue with my career or do I pick something else? That is entirely up to you. Created something that will help you track what sort of level and what career you have reached. But if you remember, in our character sheet there is this tick box section where you mark what level you are in. So you finish the first year, you complete your novice title in that set career. When you complete the next one, you go to adept or apprentice. Anyway, when you complete all of them, you become the master of said calling. Now, some people will prefer to go all the way to the master level of their calling. Some people might want to dip their toes into a lot of pools and maybe just collect a bunch of novice statuses. Now we have badges, and a lot of them, to track this. So you can download this, you can print this, you can, you know, put it in your journals. I know a lot of you guys journal, and I love seeing those spreads. It's very fun. They are there for you to download in the G Drive, which I will upload, and everything is going to be there in the description bar. If this is a live viewing, it's going to be a little bit later. So for example, my character Dovanthia has been studying to become a Rift Architect, and as I successfully finished the last year, I currently hold the status of the novice. So I am a novice Rift Architect. Will I stay with this? I'm not quite sure actually. I still need to sit down and figure out what I'm doing. I just was very keen to let you guys have the information first, and then I'll play around with you at the same time. Speaking of careers, I am bringing you two new ones. They are added now to the callings files. They're at the very end of the file, so it's easy to find, and I will continuously add more and more. I will only add stuff at the beginning of the year, so there's gonna be nothing new in August, so you can obviously complete whatever you pick now, whether that's continuing on the new one. My printer is a little bit shite, so this is a bit hard to show you, but the first career that we have added is a Star Whisperer, and it really is what it says on the box. It's a mage who gains and learns an ability to listen carefully to the messages that come from the cosmos. At some point you can whisper back. You can work with other professions in helping to prepare for what's to come, or take private clients to help there with their own life. And obviously you can read more about what the career entails in the actual document. When picking careers, again, obviously make sure that you know what's to come in August. So whilst this one only requires 4 books in spring, so it's easier for spring, it does require 8, so double in the next one, so it increases. And then the last one we have is the Wild Form Druid, who are sworn to protect nature. A primary form they feel called at some point during their training to turn into, and then actually find almost like a found family with other people of the same form. But they also can turn into a lot of animals, so it's a shapeshifter's dream, especially if you care for nature. Well, actually you have to care for nature and are very inclined to help animals, study the environment. This is one of the more challenging careers that I've added. To browse this file by yourself. Let's go over the prompts, and then I have a couple more very exciting things to talk about. One of them is the overall direction of the readathon and what we're gonna do throughout the years to come. It's a big task, but I'm very excited to explore this with you and expand our world. Then I have some bookmark news, and then just the general reminders of everything. Well, we'll talk about that. That will be the file you want from the G Drive. It is the Spring Equinox Syllabus. So again, just a quick reminder that you don't need to do all of these unless your career demands, but the way that you find what you need is you open the page of, you know, whatever you decided. So if you decided to be an abjurer, you go into the Spring Equinox section and then you find what you need. So you only need inscriptions, spells and incantations, and conjuration. So these are the 3 classes from the list you would need to pass. There's no doubling up unless you have guild points, which is again something we're gonna address later. So each prompt is a new book. Alchemy. A subject we will be very familiar with this time around, even if you are not. But the focus this year is the principles of transmutation. So the reading prompt is metal in the name, and that can be any metal. Aluminium, gold, silver, iron, bronze, literally so many. I'm hoping this is not gonna be too hard to fulfill. You normally can search in, you know, Goodreads in your shelves or Storygraph, I'm assuming. Hopefully you will find something under that. But for animal studies, we are studying heads and butts this time, heads and tails. I am so excited for this prompt because I really want you guys, if you're doing this, I would love for you to tag me on Instagram stories when you flip the coin, and I want to see your reactions if you are happy with what you got or not. The prompt is to flip a coin, and if you get heads, then you have to pick a non-fiction read, and if it's tails, it's a fiction read. So raw prompt, but I know some people don't really love non-fiction, but hopefully this is gonna be a push for you to find something that interests you if it does flip to that side. But I would love to see those flips on Instagram. That sounds really weird. Anyway, I know coins have different styles in different countries, so the tails is the bit with the number. Next is Art of Illusion. We're learning a focus called Disguise Self, and for this the prompt is to read the book whilst you try to match your clothing color to the color of the cover of the book. So if I would be reading this, which I am, I would be either trying to dress white, red, or the both. Astronomy, studying the eclipse effect. The prompt is 2 letter E's in the title. The author's name or anything that's not the title would not count for this. Conjuration, we're learning spirit binding spells. That is a recommendation by a friend. If it's easier for you, if you don't have a lot of reader friends, someone's PBR or a comment on Instagram, you ask them for a recommendation or slide into someone's DM. Maybe this is gonna prompt you find like new friends. But if you don't want to talk to anyone, which is also very, very fair, you can just take a book from someone else's TBR that you think you would like. For demonology this time, we're studying a type called impersonators. And for this, we want to find a book that is compared to your favorites. So, for example, you know the videos of like, if you like this, you will like this. You can watch that and see if they have any of your favorites and see what they said you will like. Or if you would prefer, you can also, you know, try and Google it. For example, if I put, books for those who like dark matter, and something would come up, and hopefully you will like that book. We're tackling botanic controls in our elemental studies, and for this we are looking for flowers on the cover. Spells and incantations, we are doing a pew 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 spell. Magic missiles. For this we got to be very, very precise. You don't want to like scorch anyone by accident. Only on purpose, no. We're basically looking for a book that is between 389 and 415 pages. It is very specific, but I think it is one of the more common ranges, so hopefully it won't be too difficult. For artificery, we are studying conduit enhancement. For that, we're just trying to enhance our own reading experience by starting a book with a snack. Inscription, we're learning the glyph flight. And for this, you need to pick a book from your top or the highest shelf. So for me, that would be, nope, actually there's one more, like right there, or another shelf, that's a top shelf. If you go to the library, obviously the top shelf of the library, top shelf of the bookstore. If you only read digitally, maybe like the first recommended to you by the app, something like that. For lore, we are studying the legend of Dia, and this is for a book with a map in it. Psionics and Divination, Cloud Study 101. This is for clouds on the cover or in the title, like the word cloud. For restoration, it's Oculi Cures. So I would like you to select a couple of books you would like to read, close your eyes, shuffle them or ask someone else to shuffle them, and point at one at random. So it's a chance, but it's not really a chance. I mean, you can point at them if you don't select them, just at the shelves, but just to make it so you're still reading what you want to read, I would personally select a bunch and then point. None of the answers are like disappointing. And for shapeshifting, actually learning to transform into a wolf, and for that, naturally, we have wolf on a cover, title, or author's name. And that, my friends, are the prompts. I hope they're fun. I do have a couple here that I've never had before, which I'm very proud of because I think I'm in like somewhere around 400 prompts mark at this point. So I hope they're fun. I'm excited to make my own TBR and I'm excited to see yours as well. As you know, this goes from the beginning of April to the end of April, but if you are in the Order of the Crescent, remember that you do start 3 days earlier because you won the last round if you fancy. You don't have to, but you can if you want to get a little head start. I'm going to talk about the Guiltiers now, so for those who are not messing with the guilds, because this is such a, again, I'm gonna stress this out, this is not necessary. This is just for those who want something extra, which is a lot of you, to be honest. We all are a little bit extra over here, and I love that. You do not need to do any of this in order to pass the readathon. But let's talk about guild tiers. Ignore this, I completely lost track. I'm gonna restart it. So it's fine, ignore this. I also very much spilled water on this. Or tea. Anyway, doesn't matter. If you are in a different level, you will have some. So remember those when you're planning if you do want to apply said perks. For example, the assistant allows you to count a genuine DNF as a fulfillment of the prompt. Revered lets you change any of the book to a different book even if it doesn't fit the prompt. Exalted lets you use one book that's over 500 pages for 2 prompts. Clarification, they still need to actually fulfill the 2 prompts, like they need to fit both of the prompts. And the Paragon just lets you double up on any books and as many books as you want as long as they fulfill the prompt. So it could literally be one book that fits somehow all 12 prompts, or it could be, 6 books that fit 12. You get the idea. However, it has come to my attention, and it was brought to my attention, that I have vastly underestimated how many of you are going to do a lot of the extra things that give you a lot of points, and it adds up really quickly. So this was supposed to be challenging, and for some this still is challenging. I probably am some. Some of you are already Paragon but don't really want to be because you don't know what to do next. So I have a solution for you. There are now 3 versions of this, and you know when you go and log on onto a new video game and then you select a setting, so you have, story mode, easy, normal, hard, and extreme. We will call this normal, and it has the levels of 100, 200, 300, and 400, and any of you who wants to stay on this can. This is literally your personal preference. I just want it to be a bit more adjustable, because that one thing about this readathon, I always try to make it kind of adjustable to your own, like to whatever level you want to read at and whatever level you want to push, or the opposite, like not push yourself with. So this is just another one. Like when you start the readathon, or now, because obviously I just added these, you select which level you want to play it at. The normal one, then we have the hard one, which goes in increments of 200, so it goes 200, 400, 800. And for those who are wilding out there, there's also an extreme version, which is in increments of 400. So depending on which difficulty you want to challenge yourself to, you can jump to those. You can are on this one and you want to carry your score into the next scale, you can. You can also restart it if you prefer. Like I probably will go for the hard version and I'll carry all the scores that I had for the main events, but because I failed to track how many actual quests I've done, I'm just gonna leave them, and I'm only gonna award myself stuff like 50 points for the novice path, 50 points for each semester that I finished last year, so that's 150 points, and then I am also gonna add whatever points I got from the yearly Eldia adventure so far, and then I'm just gonna start tracking properly from now. So now let me tell you a little bit about my plan overall. I love world building. Funnily enough, doing rather than reading. I don't really love reading that much about the world, but I love setting it up. I don't know how that makes sense, but it do what it do. I really want this to feel as tangible as it can. So that was one of the reasons why I introduced the ASMR rooms to begin with, which I will continue with, primarily trying to this explore Orilium Academy, starting with the classes. Obviously we have a lot of them, we have 14, so this is a big project and I can't promise that I'm gonna explore all of it, but we're gonna start and we're gonna try. So first off, we are visiting our alchemy theater. So that is going to be our next ASMR room. I have asked my Patreons and they said that they like, and it was a very kind of close call whether they want music on it or not. So I think I'm gonna split the video in half. Half of it will have music, half of it will just have ambience, and so you can pick whichever side you want. It will be released in April. And then next I wanted to introduce our professors because I think that's an aspect that's kind of missing still. So meet Aubryn Bluewing, a very dashing, if I say so myself, alchemy professor who teaches you alchemy if you take it. I have a feeling more people might take it now. He is begrudgingly a Bluewing because Bluewing is one of the most ancient bloodlines of mages. His relationship with his family is, to put it delicately, complicated. There is nothing uglier than untampered ambition, and our professor has been trying to break this generational curse for years. His love for the craft often borders on the obsessive, and the loss of an eye has been one of the lesser prices paid over the years. After one particular nasty failed experiment followed by a family feud, a friend found him on the brink of death. Returning him to health came with a condition. He must take up the current open alchemy professor's post at the Orilium Academy. An obvious setup, but he always pays his debts. Despite his lack of patience with less experienced students, teaching has provided a helpful outlet for his research cravings while preventing him from losing himself to it entirely due to his other commitments and duties. This temporary post has quickly turned to a long-term solution. However, even if we are ready to leave the past behind, the past is not quite ready to leave us, and some ghosts will come back to haunt him. But hopefully, we are gonna be there to help him with whatever's coming. So this brings me to our quests. We're doing things a tiny bit differently this time around. They're not gonna be a bunch of singular quests on the side. Unless there's gonna be a lot of you asking for extra quests, I am planning to just keep it to the classes and this sideline quest. So instead of having a bunch of unrelated singular adventures, we are actually going on a side quest. I'm not gonna go into what the plot is because I actually want you to discover this yourself. I can tell you that you will overhear Professor Aubryn talking to someone and concerned about something and decide to visit him after the classes in his theater. And he will ask you for some help. Now, how will this work? Not have a fancy website or anything, so we're gonna just try and set it up on the G Drive. Again, going to have a folder, and in that folder, there's going to be a file that will tell you a little bit, like a little story. Not a big one, I promise. You're not gonna have to do like a lot of reading for that. It'll tell you a little story, and then it will give you a prompt, and it will tell you what sort of reward you get for that. And then there's gonna be another folder in that folder saying, once you have done this, click here. Sometimes there's gonna be more folders to show you that you have a choice. Sometimes it's gonna be just one folder, but it will always be like, once you have done this, so you don't click and look, right? I'm gonna trust you on this. So you'll just have to have some self-control and not check what the stuff is. So there's gonna be a couple of levels to the side quest, and if you complete it, there are gonna be a couple of rewards, but again, this is totally not mandatory, and the rewards will not have any significant effect on the readathon. This is more of a story building, character building, just funsies type of reward, but you will get guild reputation points. You will, same as with the previous ones. I will be talking more about this later on. I may be doing a staggered release of these. I'm not sure yet, but we will have a quest line, and I hope you will enjoy spending more time and helping Aubryn. So those are the main additions, events, things for the readathon. Now we go into the other bits. First, I wanted to just thank you, first of all, for like your interest in the bookmarks being reprinted, I can confirm that they have been, and I have some new ones. So I just wanted to quickly show you. I will link the shop down below. I will let you know when the restock is. A bit hard to show you, but we do have the foiled Guild bookmarks. So these will be back. This will be back in stock as a set and as separate ones, as well as, oh, the moment I saw these, I genuinely, my jaw went to the floor. But we also have these new ones for Orilium that are very holographic and shiny. This is the big new one, and they're always so hard to show because there's so many. Again, as suggested, I had remade the class bookmarks. It's gonna be a set, like a whole bundle, but so these are the bookmarks. We did work with my wonderful fiance Logan for these. They are for each class with, you know, something that makes sense for the class as an illustration. They are all dark with a hint of color, and they are printed on this parchmenty paper. It's definitely very hard to show you. They also all have an Orilium kind of logo. I'm trying to show you the material. You can kind of see it, but it's like this parchmenty feel to it. So it's very natural because I wanted to keep it, you know, close to a parchment, obvious reasons. But I did want them to be quite different from the previous set, just to set a different tone to it, I guess. This is a slightly darker world as well, so I feel like it makes sense. I'm trying to see how I could like show it off better. There's just too damn many. But this is, we have this. The idea is obviously that you would use those bookmarks for whatever current read you're doing. It was quite something, but I'm pretty happy with them. I hope you will like it as well. I will have a restock of these on Saturday the 11th of March. I'll do my best to ship them as soon as I can. Well, the restock will be at 3 p.m. UK time. I'm not able to ship to all the countries, but I am able to ship to quite a few. On the Instagram for the Moonlight library, which I'll also link down below, there's a story that I think lists the countries that I can ship to. And there's also the RedBubble that pretty sure ships to, I want to say, everywhere. It has like some of the Orilium stuff, which is also linked below. Please don't feel like you have to purchase anything. This is obviously like I provide all of this other stuff for free. I want everyone to be able to enjoy it. I just also get people be a little bit upset if I don't mention the dates here because they miss it. Not everyone's on Instagram, which is where I mainly post any type of sales that I do of like other bookmarks and other creations. But so I wanted to mention it here. Okay, and now I've done that. Speaking of Instagram, we will have a photo challenge again for a week. Please do keep an eye on my Instagram because the prompts will be announced there soonish. We of course will have the magical all-nighter of the 24-hour period where we just encourage each other to read as much as we. That is going to be on the 15th to 16th of April, so the middle. For our forms, remember to we will have our book logging submission sheet where we track how many books we've read and how many pages. We will try to beat our previous year record, of course. There's also a buddy read finder spreadsheet. Transcripts for any type of files that are hard for some people to read will also be provided, as always. And there's also a frequently asked question file in the G Drive. If there is no answer there, then there's also our Discord, which I will link down below, that has a channel specifically for asking questions, and also a lot of other activity there if you want to. I am considering moving a little bit further from Twitter and more towards Discord. Definitely Twitter has some type of advantages, especially when I'm looking at like answers and stuff, but for like quizzes, I just like Discord a bit more, and I never used Twitter other than for the Magical Readathon, so let me know what you prefer. But I will link all of our socials down below either way. I think this is everything. I also wanted to, as always, thank my Patreons who have been through this creation journey from the very beginning. They hype me up whenever I doubt myself, and I am forever grateful for that. And they also give me ideas and make spreadsheets that help me plan stuff better. So I'm extremely, extremely thankful for them, and I'm extremely thankful for you for being here and enjoying this with me. Welcome back to Orilium. I hope you'll have a wonderful time, and I can't wait to read your comments. Okay, stay awesome, stay kind, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!